it's almost upon us. Our childhood memory is coming back to us, and that is only one more month. It's hard to imagine there's actually one more month from today, or maybe even less than a month. I really didn't check the calendar, but I do know the release date. What am I talking about? Well, let's get to that after this introduction. This is Sparda's World Podcast episode 20. That's right, we hit the 20 mark. And Sparda 3G here, still doing my thing and reporting everything I see fitting for this episode. Such as, well, this one. Dragon Ball Super. As, you know, that's the title. Yeah, that really is the title. Dragon Ball Super is actually set to release on July 5th. That's right. After your barbecue, fireworks, and everything Independence Day, depends if you do celebrate Independence Day or if you don't and the other countries stay. Either way, it's after that day, and it's on July 5th that we get to see Dragon Ball continuation. Dragon Ball actual sequel. Dragon Ball S. Dragon Ball sequel, they should say it. But instead, they call it Dragon Ball Super because they want to make it super. Even though maybe Super Dragon Ball is more catchy. But who cares? It's just the idea that it's coming back. So July 5th is coming back with a vengeance. Well, okay, not really. But still, maybe it's just want to really erase Dragon Ball GT. Even though all these Dragon Ball related materials such as Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, and so now this is still taking place before GT. I mean, I'll still call it non-canon, of course, but it's just funny to me because it's just all of them are before Dragon Ball GT, before Gohan is so grown up, before Pan even grow up, and it just seems like maybe Dragon Ball GT isn't non-canon. Okay, I'm just kidding. It is non-canon. Regardless of the timeline, never interfered Dragon Ball GT. But there is one thing. We do have Super Saiyan God. So that part alone already messed up this whole Dragon Ball GT lineup. So unless they manage to find a retcon to say, well, I lost all my power up. I lost everything. So I'm going to fight this guy named Oob. And when I fight him, I want to train him. And then we have Dragon Ball GT, making it canon still. But anyway, who knows? Speaking of Dragon Ball, we even have a small interview with the first editor of the Dragon Ball manga, Kazuhiko Torishima. He was interviewed, and he was asked about this, when was the best place to end the series. And it's rather interesting because a lot of people like to say after Frieza, or even after Goku's marriage, or sometimes Cell's ending. Because, personally, I'm torn between Frieza and Cell's saga ending. On one hand, the Cell saga ending is pretty, it is a nice way to end it with Gohan being the next runner-up and the next hero, the main strongest man in the world, while Goku is in heaven and doing his training, because that's what he does. And Gohan, he finally unleashed that power that had never been spoken for such a long time, and it just ended in a nice note. But on the other hand, ending the Frieza saga seems like a most realistic take, minus the Goku being married and then sets off to a Wonderland, because maybe the fact that Frieza Saiyan saga connected so well, easily well, but the point is they connected, and this whole Saiyan race and Frieza, and then Goku being the legendary Super Saiyan to top it all of that. This is when Super Saiyan used to be exclusive to one man in 1,000 years or so. And then they changed it up in Cell Saga, which I was a little bit iffy, to be honest, but whatever. But the point is, the whole ending climax, Frieza was a good villain, a really good one actually. He was really a good villain to end it off the entire series. Goku did one of my favorite scenes in the series, where Goku spared Frieza, and then Frieza, because of his ultimate pride and ego, he still managed to try to fight back Goku, and then Goku just shoot him back with a Kamehameha, one hand as they call it, and pretty much kill Frieza, which I thought that was a better death than what he received from Trunks. But I know they're trying to put over Trunks like he's a strong man. Wow, he is really strong. But still, it's more preferable in my opinion, to have Goku killing him off because it just shows how much egotistical Frieza truly was. But whatever. So, to his opinion, the editor opinion is it should have wrapped up with Frieza Saga. Now, he also elaborated about the Cell Saga. Like, what about Cell Saga? And he just said, and I quote, "If you're going to have an old fart, Dr. Gero, fight ladies, then it's best to call it for a day." So I guess he wasn't that much of a fan of Cell Saga. But, either endpoint it worked fine for me. Majin Buu, it seems like a real far stretch. Even though it was nice to see how Gohan, how he handles his daily life, and 7 years later, the Mystic Gohan, some of the cool scenes, the Majin Vegeta versus Goku once again, because people want more Vegeta versus Goku, and there's some other cool stuff, cool moments, especially Super Genki Dama or Super Spirit Bomb in this case. So there were some good parts too, but I guess it was just at his leg, which is why they probably just ended the series right there instead of going further and further, because I guess it's just the creativity was sorely lacking at that time. So that's his opinion. I'm not sure what's your opinion, but I'm okay with either one. If I have to choose one, I guess I would say Frieza Saga, just because what I just mentioned earlier. It just seems like it ends in a high note. Now, granted, without Cell Saga, we won't have a lot of cool moments, really cool moments, and I did like Cell a lot. But still, it's a really hard. It's a really hard toss up. Don't get me wrong. So everybody's opinion is gonna be different. Then we have Naruto, who, as you may know, is only 2 months away from Naruto the movie being released on August 7th, and we only got an image of Naruto and Sasuke there, obviously up current time, which it seems to be the same as the one that we just saw from the teaser trailer. So it's not that new. It's literally almost the exact same shot with Naruto holding his Hokage hat. I think he's holding a Hokage hat, but it has that pose position, and Sasuke just stares in somewhere. So now that the movie is coming out in 2 months, I guess you should expect more information of the movie in due time. I expect a lot of movie information to come out as soon as the Gaiden ends, which only has 4 weeks left to end it all. And then once it ended, they probably just show a lot of new info. It seems like a lot of things are going to throw in your face very quickly, but hey, that's what happens. I'm kind of a little surprised it's not that much info, but then again, I guess I know how they work at times, but it used to be, back then, it used to be so special where it just releasing a big chunk of info. The much we got was the sketches, the voice actor, and the image of the anime edition of Boruto and the rest, but not much else, not much. We got very, very small tidbit of the story, and that's it. But again, we only got 2 months. Expect a lot of new info just coming your way. One of the better news I read this week is that One Punch Man is getting serialized in the United States, North America to be more exact. And I don't mean just the digital release. I meant the actual volume release, the actual physical book volume. They are in fact coming into North America, and it starts off with 2 volumes, not 1, but 2 volumes in the first day of September. Well, not first day of September, but more of somewhere in September, both 2 volumes will be released. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I kind of wish it a little bit. Okay, maybe not really. But, it would have been amusing to see, like, being released right at the same time or around the same time as the anime release. So that way a lot of people will wonder, what's One Punch Man, rather than try to buy it or have to try to find it in the online and stuff like that. Usually anime is always like a safer bet. I know people will check it out manga-wise, but sometimes they could be a little bit stubborn or a little bit lazy or whatever the reason is. As in to say, like, I want to check this manga, but I don't really want to read chapter 1. So anime's job is to advertise it. So episode 1 would be like, okay, this looks interesting. So where's the manga? It's like, oh, the manga's right here. If you really like it, you could buy the volume. You know, it's a transitional process. You get the anime. If you really want to wait more episode, then do so. If you're really intrigued by the story, try to check out the chapters. And if you really love it a lot, then try to get the volume. So it's like something like that. Sometimes people will actually read the manga itself alone. But, you know, the anime boost does help. So, either way, I don't care because this is coming out in September. I'm already familiar with the series itself. And I really can't wait to own some of them. I'm happy to hear that report. September. Don't forget that June 16th is going to be the release of Tokyo Ghoul in the United States. So if you really want to start collecting the volumes, it's gonna come out June 16th. Did I say 26th? I don't remember. June 16th. It's gonna come out, and I hope the translation is done well. I hope they don't try to make it a little bit hip or something like that. It's rather a little bit funny story. It's probably because of the experience I have with Naruto volume. When I see the volume 1, they talk like they're like into our timeline, like they think they're hip and everything else, especially how they use the initials that it should not exist in that time zone, but it exists in our time zone, and it's only exclusive to, you know, like certain area in here. It kind of bothers me. It makes it easy to age in terms of dialogue. So they had to make it. They should just leave the dialogue alone and make it into something just simple and what is already written. So I'm hoping Tokyo Ghoul is kept the same for the most part. Just don't make it anything hip or anything that just seems dated. So that's it. We have no intro for Boku no Hero Academia. So I'm just going to say, next up, Boku no Hero Academia review. So chapter 45 of Boku no Hero Academia. Which, by the way, there is a new volume that's just been released. And should be interesting to see how this sold. But enough about that. We're going to talk about the chapter itself. So, yeah, we have chapter 45. And, you know, I really thought this was a fun chapter. This was actually pretty fun. The concept, you know, being introduced of the code name, aka the hero's name. And, you know, with the creativity of these characters, or the reason why they make it meaningful, or some of them are just plain fun. I thought this chapter was pretty fun in a lighter way. And, you know, we also have that little small foreshadow, a little small cliffhanger. I'm not sure it'll be introduced in the next chapter, or it could be later on, but maybe it might be in the next chapter, since the name covering part has been dealt with this chapter for more or less part of the characters. This one, they could actually use it as a temporarily, or they could use it permanently. It's up to them. But nonetheless, I like this chapter. I enjoyed it for this whole concept of the hero name, which I always thought, you know, it would be nice to actually think about the hero name. I thought I wouldn't say they skipped it, because, you know, it kind of was the same with One Punch Man and in their series when they finally got the name, and it took a while, but that's what happens. And in here they actually brought it up, so it was fun how they had to come up with the name, and how some of them either come out very creativity, something that fused with something that matched their powers, the quirks, and all the other stuff. I thought this was pretty fun. Deku's back going to school. It's already 2 days later, and he really got a lot of spotlight from a lot of people. He really got the attention from people. He's not the only guy, but the fact that the tournament made him stand out so much, it goes to show you a lot of people really take that tournament into the core, to the fact that every students from that academy is just going to have a lot of attention from many people, especially they are going to be the superhero. So you know how the citizens treat superhero. They treat them like they're like the greatest people of all. So Deku pretty much experienced that, and you know, he's like flabbergasted to see so many people just go over him. It's like, oh man, you were so good. You was in top 8, right? And so, you know, it's nice to see the recognition he gets. He may be not the only one, but it's still nice, because Deku was like, you know, just a lonesome person. back in the before the series starts to skyrocket itself. Aiden comes back with a raincoat, boots, and yeah, because it's raining and all, and he's all fast up, and of course he will hide his real feelings about the situation with his brother, telling Deku not to worry, which is normal for a lot of people to not to worry about things like such as this case, and later on it is something what I called it from the last review about the situation of Aiden's brother. So basically they go back to school, and Aizawa, he's all normal, no more bandage. He's back up. Now he still looks sleepy, but that's how he looks. And then that's where he announced that the code name is the hero name is pretty much the class of the day. That's where they're going to talk about the heroes. Everybody got so excited. You can see the shaded part. At first I thought it was like a little bit reminiscent of a flashback. You know how they always use the shaded part to try to describe something like, that history, stuff like that. That history of the hero, and then you should see a lot of shades. But it just turns out as everybody just got way too hyped the fact to get the hero's name. Especially when they all got used to this whole quiz crap that come from him for the past the classes. However, the concept with this whole hero name is happening because it relates to the draft nomination by pros. And so basically, the nominations they're getting are more akin to the expression of interest in their potential. So basically, they're gonna be the one that be calling up, which makes sense to do it after the tournament because the tournament is the showcase of the new generation heroes. So makes sense why this whole thing is happening now with this whole nomination, everything else like that. And, of course, before you get nominated, you got to get start up, and it's a hero name. And no surprise, Todoroki and Bakugo got the most voted for the attention of that leans toward. Because, of course, you look at the finals, and and it's rather funny because Todoroki lost the tournament, yet he is number one pick out of Bakugo. Because, I'm assuming because the idea... Well, okay, I know the guy. I know he said that they most likely voted for him because he's of his dad. I know his dad is supposed to be like one of the best hero, the second best behind All Might. But even though he's an asshole, but I guess nobody really see it that way, just him. But anyway, the point is, I do think if whoever they are, I just think Shoto should understand that they're not really This should not be they should not be thinking about his dad, more so thinking about his performance. And I hope they reminded the performance of the Deku time where he fought, the time when he fought Deku, because that's where he actually go all out. The other matches, he hardly does it. So hopefully that's something to reconsider. So for those of guys, there are people that just didn't get no nomination, and so I guess Deku didn't get any nomination for whatever reason. But either way, they were supposed to get some workplace experience. But thanks to that villain, I guess you could say they step ahead. So they're going to just go to the name. And at least they could actually get a name that's either temporarily or just a permanent. Which I actually thought that was fitting for Aiden in this later chapter. But then the Midnight comes out, I noticed she always interrupt the speech. Last chapter she interrupted All Might, trying to be epic speech and everything, and just interrupted that. So now she interrupted the class just because she's gonna be the one to call out the names if it makes sense, if it's good, if it's qualified, or something's just stupid, bad, and needs to change. But yeah, pretty much Aizawa. He's just gonna let her do the rest, and you just have to make sure the name fits the character, fits them perfectly. It's not permanent, but again, it just has to be something that's something good. For example, I cannot stop twinkling. See, that's a good name, right? Okay, it's not. It's a sentence, damn it. What the hell? But it's amusing to see how he come up with the idea. And, he was actually being elaborate about that. And it just won't work. Then you got references. Since this is a series that actually use actual pop culture reference, or more like the reference of the today's world, because it's not trying to shy away from it. So for example, you got the Alien Queen name, and that obviously came from Alien, and they even show the imagery, even with the tongue and all. So it is kind of funny how they just do that. But again, the first two already is just weird. So, and then it starts to get more sense with Froppy. That's the name that Suyu go with, and I guess it was I thought it was gonna be Froggy. I have no idea why. Then you got Red Wyatt from Krishma, but makes sense. It sounds cool, though. It's something. Well, actually, it's just good enough. It's just based on the old school. It's somewhat based on the old hero, Crimson Ryan. So it's kind of like a retro coming back in the next generation with Red Wyatt. It seems good though, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, see, some of the names are getting more creative. Some sounds simple, like Froppy and stuff like that. Red Wyatt sounds simple, but it kind of makes sense with their characteristic. And then a lot of people just bringing up names. Jiro bring up earphone jack. That sounds very basic. It sounds like one of those Fantastic Four naming, because I always find Fantastic Four so prototype in terms of the name, like Mr. Fantastic. Then you got Visible Woman, Human Torch. It just seems so straightforward. Granted, a lot of the superhero names straightforward, like Spider-Man, because he does web, or Superman. I think that's like the most straightforward you could ever get. But whatever. It doesn't have to be too creative. It doesn't have to be too out there, too, what the hell is with this name? Why you gotta bring this up? Why you gotta be so convoluted? But whatever. I don't mind. You got Tentacles, Cellophone, or Fan. I think it's Fan. Tail Man. There you go. Basic. Sugar Man. See? And she came back after Alien Queen. Pinky. Sure, I guess that works. I would just say this. With these superhero names, temporarily or not, I'm actually going to start calling these names in the future. So, just in case if I forget the name, I'll probably most likely just start calling it a name. Thankfully, the protagonist, didn't change his name, as you will see. Anyway, you got Charzuma, which actually has a lot of explanation. Charge plus Inazuma, as in a bolts of lightning and stun gun hero. Yeah. Visible Girl, very, very straightforward, but it match. It really match. You can't go wrong with that name. Crayty is, since she's all about creation, you might as well be creative with your name. Crayty, something like that. And then you got Shoto. Shoto, just keep the name as it is. This is where you get the idea that people could keep their own name, or more like use their own name into the battlefield. So if you have a cool first name, then use that name. I would have done it. So Tsukuyomi, of course it makes sense with the whole shadow power and everything. Grape Juice, Anima. Now Bakugo, on the other hand, just have some darkness into that. Like especially King of Exploded Kills. Not only it just sounds odd, but the idea to have kills in a superhero name is just, jeez. It's like, okay, you gotta change that or something. Okay, and it's kind of long, pretty tongue twisting. King of Exploded Kills, something. It's just right now it just needs something else. I like Uraka name is Uravity rather than Gravity, because she is about gravity. She used her name and then pretty much fuse the name of Gravity and call it Uravity, which I actually really like that name. Then pretty much we have left off with Aiden and Deku, and this is where I like this concept of the name calling. Especially this is the guy that has to witness his brother in a very, very bad state. And as I've said it from the last chapter review, he is in fact retiring from the hero because he can no longer feel his leg. And again, it's better than death, but it's so sad to see how his career has to end short. And especially the fact that I didn't really, really look up to him so much. It's just heartbreaking. But in the upside, but at the same time, it's not going to happen now. On the upside, he is allowing Aiden, his little brother, to use his name and carry on that legacy. And that's nice. I like that, especially in this time situation. And I also like, but at the same time, it's unfortunate that Aiden didn't use that name right now, because it seems like it's not the time. It seems like he's in a state of development, and I like that process, because now we would know when will he be developed and how he's going to end up changing his name. Right now it's temporarily, so it's a good thing they call it that way. So right now he's going to use Tenya, and I'm looking forward to see how he's going to evolve from his character to whatever in the time he's going to start using his brother's name, carry the legacy. So he's going to actually name with Tenya, and this is where I like the Deku part. I do like the fact that this whole development, this whole series has went bypass with the whole concept of Deku being a bad thing, and he doesn't really like being called that name, especially it's supposed to be meant for an offensive take rather than something glory as Uraka made it to be. But you might as well turn that negatives into positive. And after then, after realizing how much he evolved from the class days, he's going to use that name, Deku. So at least I don't need to change my name. Like, oh, I gotta change my name. No, I guess I could keep that now. So I'm good. So I could call him Deku as much as I want. So he's gonna make that vibe. He's gonna make that name into a vibe of never giving up, and that will be his hero name. Most likely a hero name to keep going forever on. Bakugo is annoyed. Uraka is happy. Yeah, I know. Get your shipping happy. Anyway, this is where it ends with All Might looking at the computer because somebody put a nomination for Deku, and pretty much he's heavily shocked. Now I don't know who that be, so I guess we'll be answered next week chapter, or maybe the second chapter after that one. Though not without Bakugo trying to find the name Baron Exploded Kills. He really wants that name. What's weird for him who kills? So yeah, that's where it ended. I thought this chapter was pretty fun. Like I said, these name calling, these way how they come up with the name. They even have a little subtitle, which I didn't get to read it out loud, but you should definitely go back and check it out yourself if you do read this series. I still think you should check the series out if you haven't already, because the series has a good potential to really bring out what Weekly Shonen Jump really needs, as in like another top series, another what fans like to call the Holy Trinity trilogy, or I don't know, Trinity, the Holy Trinity. They want to need a new one, I think Weekly Shonen Jump is kind of seeing the same way. They want to push that, Black Clover, and I think something else. I forgot the name. Start with a K, or it might be UBS. I don't remember, but it's one of those series. Either way, they want to make this series into the top one of the top. Of course, it won't be better than One Piece in terms of sales or in terms of popularity, but it needs to be something to carry over for the future, So, but either way, at the time being, it's a fun series. It's pretty good, and the art is really good too. So you should definitely check it out. Can't wait to see what's gonna offer next. So far, I'm really liking this direction of like more hero aspect being introduced, especially with the heroes. So, seeing what's gonna be next about the nomination, see the potential. I don't even know what to expect, to be honest. I'm guessing it might be Escanard that nominated that went for Deku, but we'll see. I guess we just have to wait. Past chapters, it seems like a 3-parter chapters, as in like 3 chapters of Bleach worth of 1 chapter. In this case, it seems like a 2-part chapter because, the pacing is still a problem. But this chapter wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad chapter. I thought it was okay. Yes, the pacing still has a problem, and I understand the series is coming to an end, but I kind of wish it doesn't need to be that slow. Not because I really want to end it, but I just want to. It's just aching to bear with this whole process of development in a very strange pacing. And the fact is, this chapter, I know this chapter is a build-up for a fight, a build-up for the final fights of the series, which is not bad. There's nothing wrong with doing a build-up. They're always going to take its time. It's just that it feels like a lot of portions, mainly from the Ichigo group, seems like a repeat from what happened to the last chapter with Yorchi's brother. If you remember, the Ryasu has changed drastically to the point it can't really fly easily or at all. The whole hovering thing, the whole Dragon Ball Z aspect of the person being the anti-gravity world, something like that. But point is, it happened again with Ichigo this time. But at least they did it in a flashback, and I just thought this chapter should have been like a lot of setup already happening. It's only like one portion, and I guess what helps it is the humor, and well, it does connect to the humor with Kenpachi and Mori, and it was still a good chapter. It's still an okay chapter. It's just I guess I'm just waiting for what's coming next, and the pacing, from the past chapter, it has been causing this really hard to bear with the whole situation. So basically, we got back with Youch proclaiming the new world order being called Worldwelt, practically coming from German language, and Youch Wolf. He's going to ensure that all the intruders are killed so that nobody will interfere this new world order, let alone the fact that he won't let Youch even see them. That's how much they obey him. That's how much they worship him. And back with Urahara and Kuroko, they again it's kind of recap again. It's like, oh look, there's a castle. He pretty much telling us to bring it on, and he uses the strength of this whatnot. And they just go head out. But before they head out, well, actually they still headed out. But there was one thing they just realized: what happened to Mori, and Nemu. And so that's something that's like, I just realized that. Kind of forgot about that too, to be honest. But yeah, then we see him and her coming out of the door late, so everybody's already doing their things while he could roll free for himself. And then, sadly for him, Kenpachi is actually behind him. He actually missed the first entrance before, and thankfully, Morty opened the door the second time. So at least he managed to go there. But unfortunately, he's interfering. Morty hope and dream to roam around and do what he wanted to do. So sucks to be him. But hey, that's what happens when Kenpachi shows up late. And his team squad is also there, just watching them bicker and argue to the point that Kenpachi was like, "Well, don't blame me if I accidentally slice you somehow like that." Yamada is like, oh boy. So yeah, so there's some decent humor in here. Like I said, the humor is what saved this chapter or many other chapters to being a complete average or below average chapter. Be bored. If it wasn't for those, I probably would be like, I probably have a different opinion. I still do in terms of the pacing and the development of plot and whatever like that, because it just seems like it just seems like we only cover half the chapter of a different series. Bleach chapters are really like a part or more so of a chapter themselves. So it's kind of really hard to bear with those kind of situation, and I can understand why people are so upset every time they get that. But I mean, I'm more time impatient, but when it comes to like the overall, it just seems very so drag on for nothing, Anyway, we get back to the Ichigo group. Like I said, they pretty much going through the city and then comment on how they cannot use form footholds with Raishi. Again, he almost fall off the cliff. Sato thankfully saved him, so lucky for him. But yeah, basically they gotta run towards the location, bring on the fight to the castle and whatnot. And it's just again, Yorchi even comment about her brother. They felt the exact same thing. They did the exact same thing. Sorry, said the same thing. And Ichigo's like, I don't know if that's a praise or an insult. That's an insult, Ichigo. So, that's pretty much a recap from what happened to the other group. So basically, they have their own parallel. Go figure. So Grimjaw is already making this hasty way because he knows these guys are not gonna waste their time, and if they prolong too long, they're gonna get their strategy on the way. They're gonna get their man advantage, and they're gonna outsmart the heroes. So yeah, he's pretty much going against, because he's pretty much going forward, and in Ichigo sense that there's somebody up there, and it ends up being one of the Quincy guards, Askin, if I remember the name. Askin, he was like, oh crap, he got the Ichigo group. So he thought he would have to face Ichigo and the other guys, the Shinigami people and some of the friends. Turns out that there's the other guy. That would be Bazbu. Wow, I got mixed up with the game. Bazby and the other Quincy, the one that got betrayed, the one that just pretty much they pretty much become a rebellion against Youch. And yeah, they're there. I forgot about. I don't remember seeing the entire interaction from them for a while. So I guess I wouldn't say I forgot them, but it's like, where were they? So there they are still. They basically see the Gate of Sun, as the chapter title is called as well. It's standing there, and they will put an end to not only to Youch but also Hotchwolf as well, because they pretty much that's pretty much his vice captain, if you want to go Gotide 13 logic. But you get the idea. His right hand man. So they're gonna take them out, and it seems to me they might get their, they will get their keister kick. So the idea is, I guess they're gonna might put over Youch Wolf, or Youch. So they're just gonna be like, it would suck. They will be fathers to them, jobbers to them. It would suck for that. But maybe I could be wrong. Maybe they would just fight someone else before they get to them, and then they could job out for all I care. So other than that, it's an okay chapter. It's not much. The humor saved some of it. This you have Marty and Kenpachi interaction again, relates to the humor and everything. And there's some. At least we're setting up things. We're setting up the battlefield. We got the Quincy that's rebellion, pretty much getting close to their location, pretty much want to take out these two. Then you got Askin about to fight the Ichigo group. Not sure who exactly, but we'll see who's gonna take them on 1-on-1, if not 2-on-1, whatever. But yeah, that's what we got, and that's it. That's about it about that chapter. I got not much to say. Hopefully, there's more to say for the next one. Boy, I really hope the anime edition really make this chapter very epic proportion and very productive. But I don't know. I don't know if Toei Animation can be capable of making a great animation with a great soundtrack and a great epic tone of a hell of a development of, making the rising star or the hero comeback story of it in this chapter. I don't know if that's going to be the case in the anime. And the only reason why this is the only time I'm only talking about the anime is because this one really relies on the anime making a heavy moment of a hero rising to the sun. Kind of had that Darkfall. I said Darkfall. Kind of has that Dark Knight Rises scenario. Only, you got an announcer to do the whole build-up thing. But, either way, this chapter, it was good. It's good because of the atmosphere being created. I know it's taking so long to get to the point. I know it's taking so long to end this arc as well. But I guess I just like the atmosphere and the way how it's being hyped up and everything else. And I feel like the anime can only bring this in a huge justice proportion. But knowing that it's just a toy animation, I just don't know they can do it. I just don't know. I don't know. I can't say they're the worst animated studio or anything like that, but they're not exactly the great one or even pretty good one. It really depends on their budget and how much they really want to use their budget to make the scene, to make the episode so epic proportion. Even though they have like a couple of series that just really make them more money, especially One Piece, of course. But anyway, let's not talk about the anime because I want to get to this chapter. Now, like I said, this chapter has not much thing going on, to be honest. It's more of a continuation of this 3-part of battle struggle. You got back with 4 minutes with everybody has to try to find a way to stall time. And, they want Luffy to get back up and defeat Don Flamingo once and for all. Then, there was a big struggle of like, oh my god, this thing is going to kill us in 3 minutes. We need 4 minutes. Then the second chapter is pretty much, we can never give up. We all got to fight. Please, fight, please. And then this chapter is pretty much, we got to still fight. We can do this. Everybody, Luffy's back. Yeah, It seems like this is like a 3-part that could fit in one episode with a very great budget, a great soundtrack, great everything around it. Just to make it so epic, because that's something that anime has to do to make this such an epic proportion. Now in the manga form, it's actually pretty good still. It's just that maybe people don't want it to stall time with this whole thing. It is stalling, don't get me wrong, but I guess a lot of people really wants to just get to the point, which I don't mind, which I don't blame them. I really don't. I just do like the atmosphere being created. But again, I think I would appreciate greatly more if it happens in the anime with a really right amount of budget, because it seems like one of those scenarios you get in a lot of animes when it comes to a heavy war, a very epic battle proportion, and then you get that, you put a soundtrack, you put a really great budget, you put a music, you put something, and then you just end the episode and it's like, oh my god, that was a great episode, that made me so I don't know, right in my kokoro, whatever, something, the feels, whatever like that, because it's just the way how it's building up the atmosphere. Yeah, that's just about it. At least just be thankful we're done with that, because this is the last chapter. Now, there's one thing we should not be thankful, but I'll get to the ending. So, like I said, it's pretty much a continuation of everybody fighting back, everybody not wanting to die. The actual productive part was the whole Viola trying to fight against Don Flamingo, because she has suffered for 10 years, spending the time with the family that pretty much she hated and stuff like that. And, she really wanted to kill him as well, like everybody else, like especially Law. But then Don Flamingo is going to use Rebecca to try to kill Viola. And pretty much, instead of him get his hand dirty against Viola, he's going to have Rebecca, a relative of hers, to get her hand dirty. So pretty much it's like, oh, you kill your relative. How so sad. So what a dick move. But yeah, that's how Don Flamingo works. Again, there's a lot of people struggling. Like, let's not give up. We gotta push it. We gotta push it. We can't die here. We gotta stop this. It's a lot of panel, a lot of showcases, a lot of side characters, a lot of really minor characters. Basically, the citizens, or just the characters just only be in this arc, just showing off, just talking a lot. Then that's where the good part comes in. The part that actually saved the chapter, for me at least, is where Gats, he pretty much started to make an announcement from the get-go, starting over from the time that he started in the Coliseum, where he was announced as Lucy, not to be mistaken with the other character from the other series, but Lucy. Pretty much, again, I feels like the anime really got to put this into justice. Again, I still appreciate it in the manga form, but I feel like the anime could have the most advantage if done right in the anime form, because this required voices. It's kind of like sports. It's kind of like sports anime, but the advantage of sports anime, if you could get the production right, the sports advantage is the crowd, the atmosphere. It's like you like when I read Haikyuu, you get this guy serve, and then it just serve. It looks good and everything else. Now in the anime form, you hear the crowd going whoa, and then it's like that. That makes it great. That makes it so immersive into the world of theirs, and just makes you drag in like you're in the crowd. So in this case, you have Gas explaining the whole story that the star is reborn, and that's Lucy, of course. But then not only that, he's talking about the entire story that Lucy guy, he was all in the Coliseum, and in the end, and the truth be told, it's not Lucy, as you all know, it's Luffy, from Straw Hat Pirates, and that's where a lot of people know about that guy. He's Straw Hat Luffy, and some people really didn't know that, which not everybody has to get involved, so nobody really knows about that. But yeah, they all know him from Lucy, so I guess everybody still call him Lucy because that's where everybody get to know him, or start to know him from the beginning. So he making a lot of announcement. It seems like it could have been such an epic proportion in terms of like an animation form, or like it's just anything with sounds. I guess you could say that. Of course, the animation got to look good, let alone the art. But point is this this whole thing, this whole build up, this whole speech announcement from him is all build up for Lucy to make it a comeback, and just pretty much telling him the whole story, how from beginning Lucy was in the Coliseum, and all this time he was Luffy, and they've been fooled and controlled by pirates over and over, and 10 years ago they had to deal with this whole Doflamingo, his family, it's been hell and stuff like that. But now Lucy did in fact promise everybody in the world, well, not in the world, but the Dressrosa, promised them that he will defeat Doflamingo one more shot, just one shot knockout. And yeah, he had talked to Doflamingo. Guess what? This is your end. This is your execution ground. And it's just a lot of build up, a lot of panel of everybody struggling. Then sadly, a lot of people starts to wear off from the tears of the princess. If you remember the last chapter, their tears heals everybody to their perfect state, I believe. But unfortunately, it has a limit. As in, once the time runs out, they go back to their weak state. People are starting to go weak, and it sucks. But hey, they almost there. And then she kind of feel like she's a terrible person for failing, for making everybody feel good, only to feel the suffering once again. And let alone the fact that it happens right now rather than it needs to happen after the situation is over. So they try that beetle, that I think it's a beetle, that the thing is just telling them you can't blame yourself. You're giving them miracles and all that other thing. And again, a lot of the countdown happens with the countdown of Luffy or Lucy, since everybody likes to call him Lucy because that's what they know him for, which is interesting to say, to actually talk about him as Lucy rather than Luffy. So they got the countdown, the anticipation. Like I said, it also needs a good animation direction. So I don't know what can it do, but yeah. So with this whole timer, and then once it hits 0. Everybody celebrated, and I really like this last page. Basically, Viola was about to take the kill, telling Rebecca, "Close your eyes," and just forget about this. After this moment happens, just forget all about this, and she would never hate her. She will always love her for who she is. And then Law switch with Luffy, and Luffy is back up, all up and running. Break that sword. Doflamingo sees Luffy now right in front of him. And he's like, he's back. He's like, Straw Hat. And then everybody went crazy saying, he's back. Law goes, go. Like, it just seems like this is it. The next chapter is the final ending for Doflamingo and versus Luffy. So that last two panels really sums it up. This whole 3 chapters that we had to go with in terms of the build up. And I do wish that whole thing was done in at least a 1 chapter, but that's like a monthly base style. So, but again, it's the atmosphere, the build up that made it happen. And the last page, or rather the last 2 page, really makes it up to me. It just seems like this is the reason why they make this a whole epicness of all speech, the whole never giving up, the entire fight everything you got, fight people, fight. So, I get, that's why I can't hate this chapter. I can't think this chapter was okay or bad or anything lower or average or below average, or I just thought it was a good chapter. It's just the atmosphere. It just helped it out. So because of that, I can't really hate it. I just didn't. It's not because it's the series. It's just it did its job. Like I said, I think the fact that Gats has to do with this situation, it builds up this whole epic proportion of him reminding us, not just the people in the series, but us, the audience, that this is a one hell of a long journey. Regardless if we really want to get out this arc so bad. I know some people are really tired of this arc. Look, it could have been worse. We're gonna stay here 2 more years, right? So anyway, I am ready to get it done too, but I'm not ending with sourdough. I want an epic ending, and it seems like we're gonna get that in the next chapter. Now the unfortunate part is, next week there is no One Piece chapter. Damn it! Son of a gun! What the hell, man? So yeah, no new chapter next week. No new chapter. Good timing, right? Damn it, Oda. What the hell? So yeah, good chapter. Just thanks to the whole atmosphere build up and the whole thing. Just be thankful we're done with the whole, okay, when Luffy's coming back, the stalling time. Just be thankful we're done. Okay? We are done. We're just not done with the waiting because Oda likes to play with us. Bastard. And that's it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoy my reviews, and don't forget, I'm going to start reviewing anime and manga in my Tumblr page. I'm going to make a post to make an announcement just in case for everybody to see, and everybody will get used to the concept of what I'm going to do in my reviews. And it's going to be posted Saturday basis. I'm not sure it will happen for this Saturday, but it most likely will happen in the next Saturday. I'm definitely going to talk about more of those in a due time in my Tumblr page. Also, don't forget that I'm going to post a extra base that's going to talk about the Tokyo Ghoul anime and my overall thoughts. So that is coming up very, very, very soon. So do check it out if you like. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Spread the words, if anything, so everybody can hear. Do subscribe. If you haven't already, let them know to subscribe as well. And, try to follow me at Tumblr, Sparda3g.tumblr.com. So, that's all I got to say. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. I'll see you next time for more. Take care.